Good evening, all. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your metals market update for this Tuesday, the 17th of March, 2020, about 5:15 p.m. Central. Well, that's actually daylight savings time here. Now, at some point, folks, you do know that something could happen in Chicago or other cities where I'm not going to be able to get into my studio right away to do recordings. If that happens, nothing happened to me. I'm healthy, but it's a ghost town in this building. I'm in the Chicago Board of Trade. Believe me, it's a ghost town. Most people are not here. The restaurants are closed. The cafes are closed. You can get some carry out if you just walk in to grab it. We're watching that New York might go into more of a shutdown phase. We're watching tonight as the Fed is doing more programs. With the Treasury, they're saying, bring me your assets. We will give you short-term money against them. We'll take a haircut, but we'll take them. And they're going to do this in a major fashion. And you'll say, well, why is the market down? This is the cushion that's keeping the market from getting worse. We've been in a pattern that I've tried to point out as best as I can, and it began, and I noticed it when the Chinese situation happened, and it was going on. We'd hear the noise starting February 19th. Bad news became bad news. Prior to that, we'd hear about the coronavirus, and bad news for that time when we heard about it in China. By the end of the day, the market was roaring again, and you'll remember the valuations on stocks went crazy. Now bear news is bear news. Okay, cities closing down. Okay, but the gold market, as resilient as it is, we still have silver at $12. It's hard to believe. We have copper at $2.32. So what's really going on is that you have to be fearful that U.S. factories are about to shut. Demand for goods is going to curtail. The service industry is getting hit. As we look at gold, we can see how the market backed off from the 1672 level, came down on a weekly basis to the close last week, and has had, since then, a bit of a bounce, $18 bounce. Okay, it's nothing super special, but it is there. When we take a look at a daily bar chart, if you think you can trade that action, God bless you, but most people can't. It's a whipsaw for them within that because of the volatility you're seeing. And the volatility remains. We are tonight up $9 as an example. So you're getting these wild swings that is normally over a 2-day, 3-day period, all happening at one time. What has the market done? It made a successful test yesterday of the 200-day average of closes, bounced today. What do I teach? You look at these moving averages. As you come up, the 100-day would be the resistance. If the market can clear this number with any veracity to it, velocity might be the better word too, well, maybe you can get back to the 18. The problem is, what is the trend? And there isn't one. When you look at June gold, you've got a higher high and a lower low. It is a market that is looking for value one way or the other. When you take a look at Bollinger Bands, 95% of the time you're going to stay within a band, even with the craziness that goes on. So the market got under the bands right here, stretched itself out, and has pulled back into them. Is it trending? No. Is there bias? Yes. It's to the downside. The support, the lower band of the 200-day average, and resistance beginning at the 100 all the way up to the 18-day average of closes. In terms of market momentum, you got into an oversold condition, didn't embed, and it's trying to give you a bit of a bounce out of that condition. In order to get out of that, both numbers have to come out of 30. We're not there yet. You're still oversold. The gold-silver ratio, I had a good friend call me today, and he's saying, how could silver be $12.50? I'm buying silver. I said, okay. How could copper be $2.32? Okay. The point is gold is held up relative to silver, and you need a lot more ounces of silver to get an ounce of gold. I remember trading it and wondering, back here, were we going to get a failure in the 87 level? You added 40 ounces more that you have to have. So it's telling you that silver, in my opinion, it's not a precious metal. Simple. If you think different, okay, that you're entitled to your thought. You have a higher high, lower low, a vertical break. What am I supposed to do with that? Where would you get short on this market, and where would your stop be is what you have to ask yourself. Are you really going to put a stop back over the most recent high that is $5, $6 away? I don't think so. Should you be selling under a lower Bollinger Band? I'm going to use one word, the way that I teach charting: never. That's just pulling on that rubber band. Be careful. Copper market, it's called Dr. Copper. Copper is likely to be the first of the metals, these industrials, that gives us an idea that the worst is getting behind us. I believe China's coming back in a strong way right now, not going to come back right now. I believe Europe is in very serious trouble. They're yet to peak in their corona, and we're still going up that. We're not even close to a peak. So the news over the next 2 weeks, I'd expect, is still going to be bad. And then I'll be watching to see how Italy does very quickly here. Do the cases start dropping off? We saw that happen in South Korea. We've seen it happen in China. So you've got to watch for the timing. I'm no doctor, but I understand how to watch numbers. So I'm looking to see what goes on. The U.S., what are we doing? We're about to shut off demand for this. Do you honestly think factories for GM and all these other car manufacturers, where they're, as much as they want to say they're spaced out, there's problems there. We know that the supplies are going to start coming in to keep them going. The problem is it in everybody's best interest that factories shut down for a bit and get rid of the disease rather than have it spreading? We saw in San Francisco, the shut-in took place. That is 6.7 million people yesterday. They can't leave those areas. They're not quarantined. There's no guard saying you can't. It's more of a public system where you stay in your house. We don't want crowds. Don't come over to bring the kids to go into the swimming pool and we're going to have 20 kids in that backyard. It's not what this is about. This is about hunkering in, and we're going to see more of it. But as a commodity trader, I realize it takes away demand. Platinum, same thing. You've peaked out up here, and look at how you've come down. Prices are going to get too cheap. Already something's happening. This is a bearish embedded reading. You lost it as of today on the close, and tonight you're continuing with it lost. So, is that market saying maybe these prices got too cheap in the market? Well, it's certainly a warning sign for what? That the momentum is saying the bear side of this, the easy or money, this washout money's over. That doesn't mean you can't go lower. That's what this is saying. You'd have to re-embed, which means by the close on Wednesday, and we're already looking at Wednesday session, push that number down. It's going to take a heck of a break to get it down there. Could it happen? We're watching the metals do that. But 95% of the time you stay within the Bollinger Band. I don't want to bet against that. Palladium market. It still has the embedded reading. It moved from this crash level over to the right-hand side with an embedded reading. It can still work itself lower as I'm seeing it. Dollar index. We went from a market that all you wanted to do is own dollars to where it fell apart. You saw remember when interest rates were going down dramatically and kept coming, nobody wanted the dollar. Well, now everybody wants the dollar and they're selling off the other markets. If you're trying to trade a virus, understand what you're trading, because you're not trading the market, you're trading the virus. And that means that the news hits so fast that you have to be careful, you have to understand logic doesn't work. It's all about risk. You know, one of the things we do here is we pride ourselves on trying to get you news. So if you haven't seen our news, it'd be smart to see it. Go to www.iraepstein.com, look at the free offers on the bottom of the page, sign up, we'll take care of you. Short and simple tonight. You take care.